Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing the indie horror film The Stylist. It's about a stylist of hair.
Blackberries.
Something...
It's mostly about blackberries.
Yeah.
Those little.
Really,
those
this
little
was
thingies.
just a passive aggressive way to talk more about Schnarz's hair. So we're gonna get to that in a little bit. First
like
up,
you needed an excuse.
First
Yeah.
up, joining us from Richmond, Virginia, please welcome Caitlin.
Hello, I'm watching Joe vibe his ring light over here. He looks like a hunky boy, and he's vibing.
I don't care for your hunky boys. Or do I?
Next up, he's got his ring light, folks. Watch out. From Chicago, Illinois, please welcome Joe.
Hey, everybody. And hello, Caitlin's mom. Does your mom listen to the episodes you're not on, Caitlin? It's fine. All right. I thought she was
Not a true fan.
Not a real.
I mean, just listening to the ones you're on means she listens to 100% more than Schnarz does. So
Why would I listen to the?
Yeah.
I'm on the episode.
it's called quality assurance, John.
Oh.
I do it.
I trust you though. I've outsourced that,
Yeah.
that function.
Some of us know that if we're on, it's quality, and
And that's it. You don't have to go back. Got
There
it.
you go.
and if I'm not on, it's not quality. So there's no reason to listen either. So.
I like the confidence. Last up tonight, please welcome John Schnarz to the show.
Hi, Eric.
What's up, John?
You know, life stuff in general.
Yeah, you're telling me, dude.
Just, yeah.
All right. That's all I got. Joe, tell us what we're drinking tonight.
Beer guts.
I mean, should we mention that today is the 1-year anniversary of the infamous G Chat where we decided to shut it down?
Yeah. When
Did it need to be
what was
discussed?
that?
Is really.
What was
I
that
don't need to
movie
be
again?
reminded.
What was that movie again? The Hunt.
The Hunt.
Yeah. The Hunt.
Where-
Which we did review. We just didn't go to the
Yeah.
theaters.
It was
Well, eventually it was released on VOD because,
Well, that was the
you know.
first movie that we did that way.
yeah,
The first one of those.
Yeah.
back when we thought it was just going to be a couple weeks. And here we are. But you know what we've done a lot during this past year, John? Drink.
Yeah.
I like how I'm too tired and Joe's just doing my segue for me. I like it.
Well, so The Stylist, a heartwarming tale of a hairdresser or stylist, as she goes by in the movie, who, you know, all issues aside that we'll get into, has a beautiful head of hair herself.
She really does. Yeah.
Fiery
Gorgeous.
crimson locks.
Rocking the red.
And in honor of her, I picked a beer from the fine folks at Fat Bottom Brewing in Nashville, Tennessee, John.
Oh.
And this beer is their Ruby American Red Ale. Yeah, it's a red ale, John.
Love a good
and
red
I don't.
ale.
I mean, I've done a lot of these over the years, but not a style that I normally pick.
That's like Red Dog, right?
A little bit. It's more like a Killian's-ish if you want to go for like bottom of the barrel.
Got it.
Red Dog, I think, was malt liquor, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was
I'm
like
just
straight
kidding. I'm
up.
kidding.
But this one, red ale, they use rye malt in this. So red ales generally have like a real sort of caramely, biscuity, like bready flavor. They put rye in this. It gives it like a little bit of spice too, which I'm a big fan of. I really like this beer. I don't get to have it often because it's, you know, they're a Nashville brewer and they don't distribute very far. But anytime we're down that neck of the woods, I always pick this up. Like I said, has like a real sort of like spice kick to it. Not much in the way of hops, but you definitely get a little bit of there, but definitely sort of that like earthy, bready, like malty flavor. So very good in these colder months, or, you know, if you just want to fuck up your taste buds, it's great in the middle of the summer too. Comes in at 5.3% alcohol, so not super high, you know, something you can enjoy 7 or 8 of, or, you know, after this past year of drinking, you probably need like 10 or 11 to even
Yeah, the tolerance has gone up a little bit.
Not even feeling it, Joe. Not
feel
feeling it.
anything at this point. Fatbottombrewing.com is their website.
Nice.
And yeah, definitely
That's-
a fan. Check them out.
That's my favorite Queen song, Joe.
Yeah, it's
Fat
a
Bottom
solid
Brewing.
one.
Yeah, it's good shit.
It's my favorite style of bottom. So
I love it. All
Ah,
right, guys, let's
good
do it. Let's
God.
take a
I'm
quick.
sorry, Caitlin's mom.
Let's take a quick break and review The Stylist.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
I feel like your mom would be pro me being into big asses, right, Caitlin? Like I feel like that's okay, right? Like she's fine with that.
She's down. Yeah. I think she thinks about you very much in general.
Oh,
Well,
That's the right
boom.
answer.
I feel like we're bridging the gap here, so maybe we can strike up a friendship. I'm on TikTok now, Caitlin's mom.
Caitlin, this is why you don't want her listening to the show, just to be clear. You don't want her thinking about Joe at all. I do.
Hey, John.
Yes, Eric.
Last week you gave us full, puddle of mud vibes. You got a different vibe this week. You know how I describe this vibe? We were kind of rapping about it before the show. You sort of look like on a teen show when they like go to college, but then there's like a sexy professor who's like young and hip. That's what you look like. Like you might be sitting backwards in a chair, like really rapping with the kids about
Yeah,
the
I
haps.
like to get real with him.
Yeah.
Shoot it
Pushed
straight.
up over the shoulder or over the elbow.
100%.
To be
Guys,
fair,
I
like-
have my sunglasses actually.
He's got
right
him-
here with
Oh.
He's got a messenger bag. Okay,
Yeah.
now you look like a racist cop. Let's not
Yeah.
let those off.
To be fair, you look
Here.
like the cool teacher, John, but you definitely by the end of the episode like sexually harass a student. Like
Right.
it doesn't end
You
well.
know,
for you.
you had to go dark.
Well,
for
those
you.
those
Jesus
storylines kind of hit different these days than they did back in the day, Joe.
Christ.
So anyway, John, be careful is all I'm saying, and please bring us the word of the day.
I just want those kids to learn something about life, is what I'm saying.
Well, they're not going to learn
Uh,
that stuff in your pants, John. So calm it the fuck down.
Today's word, courtesy of a friend of the show, trichologist.
Hmm.
Trichologist. So I'll give you this is from the Google, when you Google define and you get the name. So trichology is the branch of medical and cosmetic study and practice concerned with the hair and scalp. So a trichologist is obviously someone that specializes in said care. So I was unclear what the root was here. Trich, trich. It comes to us from trix, Thrix.
Those are
Those
for kids,
kids.
Jim.
Yeah, delicious.
It's they are for kids. But the Greek stem trix means hair. So probably could have guessed, but yeah, trichologist. That was a new one for me. Was not familiar with that word, so I learned something.
There you go. Which friend of the show did that come from, John?
I believe her name is Elizabeth.
Oh, got it. All right, well, thank you for that, John. Why don't you tell us about the stylist? This was something recommended to us, I believe, by like Sophie, right? And then Andy kind of got us a look at it.
Yeah, so Sophie texted me a little blurb she asked me to read about the director because the reason she was familiar with this is the director, Jill Six. Her real name is Jill Jesus Christ. It's Gevargizian. So Gevagizian. I don't know. I'm not going to try.
I'm sure that's wrong.
Let's go with Jill Six. I think there's a
Yeah.
reason she might have a stage name here. So I'll read the blurb. Jill G, better known as Jill Six, is an indie horror director from Kansas City, Missouri, Sophie's hometown, or now adopted hometown. She's a genre nerd at heart and has been working in film a while now. She served as second unit director on the ABCs of Death 2 and has her own production company in KC called Six Tape Films. Did you guys see that at the top of the movie? Six Tape?
I did not.
No.
Why?
Well-
Why are you focusing on that so much?
Well, I
Oh.
just said that's like it's a pun, I would say.
I get it.
Six Tape.
Took me a
Yeah,
second.
all right. You're catching
Got
up.
it.
Good work. She has released a number of short films to festivals around the world, including Call Girl and 42 Counts, which was inspired by a local story of a young woman who found hidden cameras throughout the apartment she was renting from her employer.
42 counts. The Jon Schnar story.
Jill's first feature film, which we are discussing tonight, The Stylist, is based on a short by the same name. Jill herself has been a hairstylist in Kansas City for more than 10 years.
Nice.
There you go. And so I did ask Ovi, had she met her, and she has.
It's not very often we get a full bio of the director on the show, so that's cool.
Look, we did want Ovi to be here because we know she wanted to rep KC, and she just wasn't able to make it this week, but she sent
I've been to Kansas City twice, so
I have not actually. I'd like to check it out. I hear the barbecue's great.
I've been once maybe.
I have not been.
We got frozen custard at like Christmas tree place, like
frozen custard.
Like a big thing there.
Real good.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
Tell me about the actual movie, please.
Yeah. So The Stylist, Jill 6, yada yada. Stars this woman's name who the page is loading, Najara Townsend, which I pinged you all. So she is the stylist here, but we last saw her in Contracted, I believe, a movie that we kind of reviewed on the show, but we did it. I believe it was a
we did a Spooktacular. Was that was that the one where we drank 40s, or was that Zombieverse? I can't remember.
I was very drunk when we watched Contracted, and that movie is...
Maybe it was. I had never had a 40 before. That was an experience.
I don't remember anything about that movie.
It's quite explicit, but, in body horror way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Najara Townsend, her name's Claire, but she is the stylist. The film actually opens with her giving a haircut sort of after hours or late night in the salon that she works at. There's a woman, she's from out of town. They're sort of having this moment, and it tees up a lot of the rest of the film because this woman's describing how, stylists are almost like therapists. People are very open to sharing secrets with them, so on and so forth. And so Claire finishes this haircut and then proceeds to kill this woman and cut her scalp off and take it home as a trophy. And we kind of see that she has a collection of other trophies there in her murder basement, I guess we would call that.
Lair.
Her lair, yeah. She has a lair. I don't know for sure. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the setup of the film. I mean it's I would say a classic anti-hero type story where we're following Claire. I mean she is the main character. She's also a serial killer, a psychopath. The crux of the narrative here focuses on a relationship that she has with this woman, Olivia, who's played by Brea Grant, who we've seen a bunch. We can kind of talk about that in a bit, but Olivia's getting married. She was originally supposed to work with another stylist. That stylist canceled. So now she basically convinces Claire to do her wedding. And Claire had been resisting. And we can talk about potentially why. But she agrees to do it. And it begins this sort of infatuation, cycle of infatuation, almost to the point of, it is actual like stalking. So, I mean, that's kind of the setup. It's a serial killer movie. It's a stalker movie, but it's a female killer / stalker. I don't know. So it's kind of interesting.
Cool. All right. Caitlin, what'd you think?
I liked this a lot. I hadn't seen the short that it sort of originated from, but I really enjoyed the full-length feature. I got distracted a little bit because they style her exclusively in mustard-colored dresses, and it looks great on her, but I was just a little bit distracted by it. I should have counted how many they had.
Very Dwight Schrute.
Very Dwight Schrute, but really, really selling it. Like Amy Adams with Dwight Schrute fashion.
Interesting.
At first, I was a little frustrated because I feel like we didn't get a whole lot about her motivation and her background, but we sort of come to find out that her motivation is just that she is wildly socially anxious, like to a degree that drives her to murder. But by the end, I didn't mind so much because she just did a really good job of seeming just wholly deranged. I really like the idea of her not having much of an identity, and that's sort of what makes her so socially anxious. I think women, as a woman, I do put a lot of stock into my hair, and it can very much be a part of my identity. And I like the fact that she was trying on different scalps and sort of wearing those as new identities, which is revolting, but also really childlike and sad.
Mm.
Really, I mean, the performance was
Yeah,
really,
it is all those things. You're right.
yeah.
So there's a lot going on in those scenes.
Yeah. It was weird, but I just really liked it a lot. She's a very she's scary, but she's also very pitiful. I think, Joe, you had also mentioned in the email that we're not like rooting for her because she is a serial killer, but you do feel for her and you want her to, we see her sort of try to break out of this habit and have normal friends, and you're really rooting for her to make it work, but she just gets creepier and creepier. And we can get into the end later, but I would love more wedding horror. This was great. I feel like
Wedding horror. I
is
like that.
wholly horrifying in and of itself, so I would love more of this.
Wedding exploitation.
I
Wedding-
was rooting for her to kill more people, just to be clear. So I was.
But I did. The only thing I wanted to add is that I really liked that I haven't seen a whole lot here recently were the layered montages that they did of sort of like, you have her overlay snipping hair and, her psychotic sort of look in her eyes, and those sort of side-by-side frames of her texting and just extremely anxiously and obsessively waiting for a text back. Those were some cool shots. It was well done. I liked it.
Jojo.
So I pretty much agree with everything Caitlin said. I think for me, the first hour has a very sort of monotone feel to it. There's a lot of like dead air almost, right? Like there's no music, there's no like not a lot of like background noise or anything. So it's very, and I assume like intentionally like almost uncomfortable at how quiet it is. So it's an interesting choice, and I don't know if it really worked for me. That being said, after that hour mark where things it's hard to say it takes a turn, because like right off the bat we see the murdering she's doing, but once sort of like the obsessive part of her and the relationship with this bride to be kind of really kicks off, I was pretty well hooked with it. It took a while for me to get there. That being said, like I do think it's a really interesting tone they take specifically with the main character, because Caitlin mentioned too, like you're not rooting for her, but you feel very bad for her, and like it sounds harsh, but like pitiful, I think is the word you used, Caitlin, and it's like a perfect word for this, because you feel for her, but she's also like murdering, so you don't want her to get away with what's going on, but you're also, it's just like, I don't know, like I have a dog, Autumn, and like she's obviously been through some shit, and I don't particularly like her, but I feel bad for her. And like I feel for this character the way like we feel about Autumn. It's like you're not great to have around, but also I feel so bad for you that like I want to take care of you.
Wow,
So
that's pretty dark, Joe.
Yeah, well,
you're like my mentally handicapped.
Yeah, this is awful. Like, not to get completely off topic, but today I was taking the dogs out for a walk, and I was complaining to Mia, my 9-year-old, and I just made a joke that like I'm gonna get rid of them, and she's like, "What? You're gonna get rid of the dogs?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think about it every day." She's like, "Well, you can get rid of Autumn."
Aw.
That's so cold.
Yeah, but anyway, at the end of the day, I don't know if I was a fan of this, but it did really pick up for me around like the last 45 minutes or so. But yeah,
John.
Oh, thanks, Eric. I like this. I was a little on the fence, and I've actually been thinking about which direction I was going to go. Look, I think it's really well made. It's very off-putting. So the part that Joe, let's say the first 2 acts of the film they're fairly distinct from the third act in the pace and sort of
tone,
action.
sure.
Yeah, the tone. I mean, everything, all parts. She goes from a little bit of killing to a lot of killing, but it follows like it's not like a untold genre arc, right? Like we kind of, there are beats here that you can expect or project, and I think so. Just for folks who are, I don't know, like I don't want to say like you're looking for a cool anti-hero psychopath movie, like, but that is sort of what you get here, and I think it's a really interesting take on it. To me, the hardest part about this is the fact that we get effectively no backstory for the stylist herself. And I mean, that's obviously like a decision that was made. Like presumably, like as they were writing the script, they like actually talked about what the backstory was, but you're not given any of that. And so you do have to kind of bring that to the film to a certain extent. And you know, I don't need things to be necessarily like tied up in a neat bow, but I don't know, it makes it a little like you are left further off kilter in how to respond to this character because you have so little to sort of work with, or you know, around who she is, or you know, what's motivating her. I mean, Caitlin kind of described her as socially anxious. I would go so far as to say like she's self-loathing.
Well,
Jesus.
certainly. I think that sometimes those things go hand in hand, John.
Should no, yeah. I mean, look, it's like a fucked up stew of like
A sexy, perfect
disorders.
guy like you wouldn't understand that, John.
Sure, but yeah, I mean, like, but it's not heavy-handed. Like, I think it's handled very well. The movie is stylish. Like, we talked about her hair, her clothes. Like, it's all really well done. You know, like it's a really effective indie movie, and the gore. Like, I squirmed. Like, I legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
yeah.
Welching of the scalp.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially that coffee shop one, like that. I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Most intense scalping since like Creepshow 2, John.
It's on the list
Yeah.
of most intense scalping.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Yeah, can I go now, John? Are you done? I'm trying to be respectful of your time here.
No, yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
I really enjoyed this. It's the biggest thing I like about it is it is an extremely visually confident film, and you can feel that the whole way through. Like, it's got this really vibrant, colorful palette to it. It's really confidently shot. Like Caitlin pointed out, there's lots of these little flourishes, like these little montages that are really neat, and it has like, it flows. Like, this whole movie flows. Like, even when it's kind of slow, it's always visually kind of gliding and moving, which to me keeps it interesting in those moments. What makes it tough is that you just spend a lot of time in the main character's head. So like, she's not talking to anybody. It's kind of all just watching her internal what's going on. It's broken up a little bit, but some of those sections can get like a little kind of slow. But I think it's really great. And I'm especially impressed by the lead actress. Just the layers.
She was great.
Yeah, the layers of what she's doing. There's a lot of this movie that reminds me of May. It's very similar, just like about an outcast who sort of like wants to. I mean, because the feeling that I get with the main character and this girl that's getting married is like, she doesn't want to do the thing she always does with her. Like, she kind of sees this opening, like they could maybe be friends, and she's trying to reach out to her, and that's what kind of leads to the ultimate. I mean, it's not that shocking that there's an ultimate disappointment, and then, you know, but that especially kind of reminded me of May, whereas May was kind of a slow build up and then she snaps. This is kind of like an already crazy person who I kind of feel like maybe she sees a chance at normalcy in some way with a single person at least. And then in pursuing it, totally just is a weirdo and pushes her away. And then it kind of leads to that. So there's just there's a ton of nuance. Like, I really like the actress who played the bride too, because I think she has a lot of depth to her as well. I enjoyed their interactions a lot. It's really just, especially for something of this budget, we see a lot of indie movies at about this level. I have a feeling, honestly, that this is kind of punching above its weight as well. Like, I wouldn't be shocked to find out this looks a lot better than whatever the budget is, because it just feels like it feels like a really economical indie film, and they use their money. It feels like they use their money to make it look really slick and professional, which is a good way to go. So I think it's great. It's really good. A little slow in parts, but it's incredibly stylish, very tense, some great performances. So I really dug it.
Well, we don't get a whole lot of, it's not like we get a layered monologue of her internal thoughts. We just sort of see her unraveling and sort of hesitating, texting and deleting. And that's, I think it's hard to convey that kind of anxiety without having sort of like a cheesy laid over speech. And we don't get any of that. We just,
I mean,
see
a
her
lot of it is just her acting. It's just her physical acting. But those text scenes work really well too. And that's kind of, it's hard to do that. It's hard to do that texting thing without it feeling forced or cheesy. But again, like you're saying, like it really shows off the social awkwardness where she is writing, deleting, and sometimes not even sending. Like that stuff's pretty brutal to watch.
I gotta say, like the most uncomfortable scene for me, like killing aside, was when she goes out with the bride to be. I forget the character's name, so I'm just gonna keep saying
Olivia.
bride to be, but yeah. She goes out with her friends, right? And like there's a moment where they're all kind of in the bathroom or whatever, and the main character and the bride to be are sitting on the couch, and the bride is like drunk out of her mind and kind of like spills her guts about how she's nervous about the wedding and all this stuff, and like the main character just doesn't even know what to say, right? And it's not even like she seems uncomfortable, it's just her face has zero expression, and it's like she just feels nothing, and it is so unnerving.
But
to
it's also
watch
like
because-
it's like a person actually being vulnerable with her and reaching out to her, which is kind of what she wants, and she freezes. I feel like is part of it too.
but the look on her face of just like dead nothing is like so unnerving to watch. It like made me uncomfortable.
Well, so
clearly a bachelorette party, Joe.
There was like zero dick-shaped things at that bachelorette party too.
I know.
Or I guess it wasn't a
Super
bachelorette party,
unrealistic.
right? I think they
No,
just
it
went out for
was.
drinks.
no, it was the Bachelorette.
I was
party.
led to
Oh, really?
believe there would be
Alright.
dick-shaped things, Joe.
Was there? I completely
I'm just
missed them.
I'm just kidding.
I'll have
Yeah.
to rewind.
I don't understand how you do
No, but
that.
that sequence is super interesting, right? Because it's super awkward. She then has that, because that is the scene where she has the moment where the bride kind of reveals some of the concerns she's having as well, and kind of confirms like an interaction that they had had earlier. And that actually, despite how awkward she is, it actually then deepens her infatuation. And
Well, there's a
like-
definite moment where they almost both seem kind of into each other, which is kind of interesting. Like maybe I was just like reading a lot into
I think
it.
that might have been just in your head, Eric.
but...
Right, like
There
I get it. Like
are-
I played that out in my head too,
No, at
but I acknowledge that was all.
At the end of that scene, it's at least I feel like, because I think it's a fine line between her wanting to be these women and being infatuated with them. Like I do think there's some crossover there, and I'm not saying that like. I don't know, man. Go back and look at the last 15 seconds of that scene and the way they're kind of like awkwardly slinking down in their seat and looking at each other. It's a pregnant moment is all I'm saying.
Again, never been to a bachelorette party. I feel like
No,
I
now
feel
I
like
kind of
those
want to.
are super. I mean, the scene at the bachelorette party, we see her get a stain on her dress, and she's like obsessively trying to get the stain out, and we can see her obsessively trying to figure out the Olivia character. Like we get a lot of those obsessive tics, and I feel like the bachelorette party does a good job of showing us that.
well, even before when she's trying on all the outfits,
Right.
is they tee up. You're right. Like it's a very, that whole sequence is
Well,
critical.
that's where it kind of plays into like you're not rooting for her, but like you do kind of have like this glimmer of hope that like, all right, maybe things will be like quote unquote normal. And then there's that scene where she's in the bathroom and all of the Olivia's friends are just like trashing Claire, and you're just like, ah, fuck, like no, this isn't going anywhere, is it? But yeah, I mean, I guess even a step back, like the moment she walks in there, like you can tell she's not gonna fit in with this crowd, right? Like, and you're immediately like, I really hope this works out for her, but like I don't think it's gonna happen. And then it just nosedives even more once we get into that bathroom scene.
Yeah, man, doesn't go well.
That's all I got.
Yeah. I will say that I do think that, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I tell my stylist a lot. And I feel like, I think I said in the email, if I were a detective and either someone went missing or there was a suspect, I would go to the stylist first. And I like that they touched on that really early in the movie, in a really degrading way. Like the first client she has that we see her scalp is like, well, you're kind of like my disposable therapist or whatever.
Yeah. Like I'm fucking this other guy. Like I'm cheating on my husband, and I don't care if you know because I'll never see your face again.
My assumption is that scene is basically what the short was. Is that like you basically have that kind of interplay between someone, because what you guys are describing is basically there's this like, oh, I love you, as you're so important to me, and you play such a valued part of like whatever my existence. Although this is someone she's just meeting for the first time, so maybe it's a little less critical. But then turning that around during the conversation to be like, actually, you're just someone I like spill all my shit to because you're like an anonymous person that I don't
you're
care
disposable.
about.
So Caitlin said you do talk to your stylist, John and Eric. I don't even know if you go to anyone, but like,
What are you trying to say,
seen
Joe?
Eric's hair? Like, I assume he is like.
Okay,
a deep,
I
deep
used to,
relationship.
and I mean, depending on the person, but I typically would. Like, I had this woman I went to for a while that was into horror movies, so we used to just talk about horror movies.
No talk. It's
I think
documented on the
it's
show
listen.
that
I don't know. Like, this is like it's similar to my if I'm on a plane, right? I don't want to talk to you the whole plane ride, but I need to say like 5 words when we sit down, or it's even weirder. Like, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, how's
Yeah.
it going? Cool, planes. All right, I'm gonna go to sleep now." Like, I
Yeah,
think it's
I don't-
weirder to sit down and be mute the whole time to at least acknowledge that there's some kind of interaction here, and then if you need to be quiet, then I guess. Be quiet.
I agree with you, Eric. on this one.
I'm hello, and like I think I've mentioned the show before. I'm on probably my 5th or 6th barber in Chicago because like the moment they start talking about their personal life, I'm like, I want nothing to do with this. I don't want you asking me about things, and I don't want to talk to you about your things. Like
Wow.
I just
Well, to be fair,
That's a
men's hair
lot to unpack there, Joe.
you're not getting color and things like that. So sometimes the dead air is heavy.
It's definitely shorter. for
no,
sure.
I prefer the problem with barbers too is
They're
like they
just
automatically assume you want to talk about like fucking sports and stuff, and I'm like, if just one of them would say like, hey, Vanderpump Rules was fucked up the other night, I
Joe,
would be like,
just
yes,
go-
like.
Joe, straight up, just go to a salon. I've literally never been to a barber. Like what you're talking about.
Well, the flip side, I refuse to pay more than $20 for a haircut, which in this day and age is getting tougher and tougher. But like, my dad raised me right.
You
up,
are
so-
It's a
high-
complicated stew
Joe,
over
you
there.
are high maintenance. Has anyone ever told you that?
I mean, look at my hair. Like, would you pay $25 for this?
For a thing you seem to
Um,
cherish so much, you'd think you'd be willing to pay more to get it done right.
Well, I don't like shampooing. I don't like.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I'm not into that either.
It-
It's too intimate. It's too
Caitlin, they don't
intimate.
get it. All right, don't let's not. We don't need.
No,
to
I'm
get
not.
into
No.
I'm talking about. I don't want the person there doing it.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
okay,
talking
that's
about now.
I grew up going to a 300-year-old barber who would just talk about traffic and the weather, and like that's what I want. But all those guys are dead now, and now there's like these
hit
younger.
301
So we have
anyway.
we have a question later about
The
on a similar note, Joe. But where did you go? Now I want to know for just me and you and no one else because no one was in our hometown.
So I grew up in Amsterdam before I moved
You did?
to Glenville. Yeah, and
Wow.
we actually used to go back to our barber in Amsterdam. So it was like a half an hour drive every time we got haircuts.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Look, when
Oh.
you got the 300-year-old guy that you like,
I
Eric,
have
you
so
keep
many
driving
questions.
Yeah.
30 minutes to Amsterdam.
So many
Guys, can we talk about the movie like a tiny bit more?
Sure.
I think we're done.
How do you think we were supposed to feel about the groom?
He seemed like a douche to me.
Yeah.
I was really hoping he was going to get killed.
The way I feel like sometimes I serve this role with my friends, like their boyfriend, husband, fiance, whatever is a douchebag, and I'm like, boo. And I feel like I really liked when, again, we're not rooting for her because she's fucking crazy, but when she calls out the fiance for interrupting her and kind of just being a dick, I was like, yeah, somebody should have said it. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded if he were the one that got
I
scalped,
feel like
but
he was just like a
Scalp.
run of the mill dingus. Like he wasn't
Douche.
evil,
Yeah.
but he just was not like you're like really like if I had to talk to this dude for like 10 minutes because a bunch of people walked away, I'd be like, oh, this is not
Well,
good
because
with you.
Olivia, the bride, it's not that she's unassailable. Like she's a human. Like she's a character. She's a fully realized character. But she's definitely like you're led to believe like she's very good. And like he then, I don't know. It's not.
What do
think
you
Eric,
mean by very good? Actually,
Well, like I just mean like she's like a catch, right? Like she's someone. There's
Yeah.
like a lot going on there, and she seems like deep, and she has like we're given a lot from her, and then all we see of the groom is like, he's not. It's not that he's like actively disrespecting her. He's just kind of like
He's like, meh,
he's a regular jerk. Like
Yeah,
he's
that's what I'm
not
saying.
anything special. Whereas she is something special, is the way that I read it in the film, at least.
Well, and she does confirm that. Olivia confirms that, I forget the way that they phrased it, but sort of like makes her feel like she's not there or something. So it's
Oh,
not, we're forecast to feel that way, I think.
No, yeah, it's totally like written. I'm not like interpreting. It's not like I'm, bringing anything to the film. But
He doesn't want to run with her. He doesn't want to go on jogs.
I can't
Oh,
blame.
listen, buying
he
someone
doesn't like validate. Her,
buying
I
someone a
guess.
treadmill when they told you they don't want one is like a what kind of move? Like, no, thank you, sir.
Well, I don't know.
No,
I got the
she's-
impression he got the treadmill because he was nervous about her running around the neighborhood and potentially being in
Yeah,
danger.
But
that's
that
a
was
weird.
super
That no.
paternalistic, like-
That's a weird and controlling thing to do when she
Yeah,
tells
yeah,
you
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Joe,
I thought
you
you-
want to talk more
Well,
about
yeah,
it?
I guess she did say she doesn't want to run inside.
She
so
straight
yeah,
up was
all right,
like,
yeah,
I don't
agree.
want this. You got this. That's it's
Well,
just it's a
And
lot.
he's literally like, I just worry about you. Like something bad could happen. It's like she's like an adult woman. Like she can go outside during the day. I don't know. It's like it's all very strange.
Well, that's one of those things where the threat comes from an unexpected place. You know, like of course you would think the threat is coming from there, but that's not where this movie takes us.
For sure.
Can we talk about Claire's hair? Like it was legit
It was great.
gorgeous.
I loved it.
Like
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I liked though that they showed her like unmade up. Like there was several. They don't show her. I guess they do show her doing her makeup, but
Mhm.
like
is that
you know,
is
they
that what you're into, John? Is that your thing?
no, but like it was like an interesting. Like I think they part of what GL6 the director was doing is like show like there's a lot of shots of her in bed. There's shots of her waking up. She's obviously someone who's like struggling with her, you know, her self-worth and like how she feels about herself. But like totally agree. Like when she is, you know, fully made, I mean, her hair is immaculate, but they also show her before that where it's like she just looks like a normal, like a, you know, regular attractive person, you know, like not any, you know. And I
don't
think
know
that
where
was
you're going with this, John, but I feel
No,
like you're
well-
skating a thin line here.
no, but I think like she was like it's the same way with her outfits, right? Like they were very specifically chosen. It was like
Mhm.
very much like she was extremely dialed up to a certain, you know, or like I don't know.
Stop.
It,
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
yes, yeah.
You're
Sorry.
making me
Thank you,
uncomfortable,
Caitlin.
John.
All right.
well, I don't know if that has to do with trying to put on a certain identity when she's, you know, around other people. I do wish, I mean, I kept thinking about how beautiful her hair looked. And then when she's doing the manual labor of scalping and disposing of bodies, I'm like, throw that hair in a ponytail. This can't be. Can't have hair down for this. I
I'm
think-
learning that myself personally. Actually, it's
Yeah,
it's hard.
Yeah, that shit back. The only thing that took me out of it, I think, is her fingerprints are everywhere, and there has got to be a, you know, CCTV. There's got to be cameras in the coffee shop, cameras in the salon. I'm like, this is not a
Well,
It's one of the first things Leslie and I said. I'm like, I feel like she would have been caught within like 10 minutes because like these people that she's killing, it's not like they're like unknowns, right? Or like they don't have family or anything. Like, I feel like there would be more investigation. I mean, I don't know Kansas City. Like if Sophie was here, maybe she could say, but like,
it's virtually lawless there.
You ever seen
There
that?
was a
You ever
lot
seen
of
that show,
murder
Joe?
going
First,
on
you ever seen
unchecked.
that first 24 show, Joe? I don't know. They're not really doing much. They're just like,
but I feel like there were signs put. There was just like posters. Like, are there police in in Kansas City?
The well,
it's
no,
like-
they had the like there were the stills and it was like, have you seen this person? You know, they do introduce some of that, but you're right. Like
Yeah.
it's
But again, I don't know if those were put up by the cops. Like, I feel like those were just handmade.
This also happens within the course of a week because or 2 weeks because Claire or Olivia texts Claire like, hair wedding crisis. My stylist canceled last minute. The wedding is in a week or two, so it does happen pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, maybe the police hadn't caught wind of her yet, but her capture would have been swift, I would think, eventually.
well, and at the I mean, if we want to spoil the end, I don't know if we want
We
to
pro-
get,
we-
but like
we probably shouldn't get too. I mean, like, it's also not the like most out of left field twist ever, but I mean, it's not widely available. I feel like so.
I think, but Caitlin called this out, and I hadn't thought of this when you mentioned it earlier. But
Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
Can-
Let's look.
can we think of another horror movie that ends at a wedding? I guess Promising Young Woman. It's like we just
I think so. I had written some horror trivia for Halloween, and one of the questions I asked was name 2 horror movies that feature a wedding dress, and now I have this to add to the list. But Ready or Not is the wedding night, but doesn't
Yeah.
really.
yeah. But
Yeah, I'm all
like
for
ending
wedding
with a
horror. I
wedding
enjoyed it.
is that's like a romantic comedy or like, you know, there's other genres that That's like the structure. And this, I don't know. It was really interesting. I hadn't thought of it at all. But
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, there's so much emotion and so much intensity built up around weddings, and I would love to see more
Yeah.
more horror themed or wedding themed horror movies.
Agreed.
For the groom especially, it's really hard. Let me just say no.
A lot of tears.
No comment. Anything else you guys want to talk about this movie? Yes, no,
I
yes.
feel like I get distracted every movie by the styling, either the set design or the costuming, and I just loved it. It was good.
What is the difference between a stylist and just like a beautician, or I don't know what the word is?
Esthetician, I think, is
Esthetician does face stuff. Like, is more like about the skin on your
Oh.
face.
Eric, you know where I'm going with this.
I was like, I don't know, like,
I'm
why
giving
do
you an
even
honest
try with
answer,
that
Joe. You're
stuff?
making it weird. It looks to me like as of March 1st, this is streaming on Arrow. So I assume that's like Arrow Video. You Google that.
Yeah, it's Arrow Films. Like, is the
Oh, Arrow Video is like the old 80s. I don't know if that's the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
no? These guys, they do. I believe this. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the British company. They do a lot of like genre. They do a lot of older stuff. They do DVD releases, like Blu-ray remasters, that kind of stuff, and then some new films, mostly in the genre stuff.
There you go. Check it out. The Stylist. Would you recommend this, John?
Yes.
Caitlin?
Yeah, for sure.
Joe?
You know, when I finished it last night, I think I was going to be a no, but like the further I get away, I'm a yes now. I don't think I would watch this again, but I'm glad I did.
Sounds great. Joe, let's break out my top 10 list on the other side of this break.
That sounded sarcastic, Eric. I'll be honest.
It's not. All right, guys, let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Silent Night, Deadly Night, the most talked about film of the decade. The movie that shocked America, outraged Hollywood, and frightened the government. The movie they tried to ban. You've read about it. You've heard about it. Now you can see it in all its terrifying horror. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
This is Jason Mewes, and you're listening to BloodyGoodHorror.com. Yes.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back.
Yep.
Info@bloodygoodhorror.com. Before we do that, Joe, it's on my top 10 list. I think there's like 2 things on there.
You got 3. You got Promising Young Woman at number 1, Saint Maud at number 2, and then you would put Psycho Gorman down at 10.
I'd put this at 3.
All right. Look at that.
The ladies are reigning.
I was going to say,
20
real lady power year so far. I like it.
That is true.
Info@bloodygoodhorror.com. First up, Sophie sent us a note. Tweet with BGH Saturday, March 13th. That's this Saturday, 7 p.m. The New Wrong Turn. I guess that's the remake.
Mm.
You can check out Tweet with BGH on Twitter.
Wronger turns.
Yeah. Next up from our longtime friend Randy. Any personal grooming horror stories? Are we to take this as like I'm grooming myself or someone else is like cutting my hair? I guess I would accept either answer if the personal ones are too much. I have my own, but I figured Caitlin just looks like she wants to tell a story right now and she's not sure.
I do have one. I don't know if it falls under grooming. I don't know, whatever. When I was like 24, I remember it was the weekend and I was gonna make hummus because my boyfriend was coming over for the weekend. So I went and I
Make
got
hummus from scratch.
I like all these details.
Whew.
well, it's important. You'll know why. But I went to the store and I was like, I'm gonna make a really spicy hummus. So I got
I
some
already
Scotch
know where
bonnet.
this is going.
I like where this is going.
If you've never had a Scotch bonnet pepper, they're very hot. And you know, when you cut any kind of pepper, you usually get the capsaicin it seeps into your skin. So if you've ever cut hot peppers or even mild peppers and touched your eyes or any part of you, it definitely burns. So I was very aware of this because this was not my first time making hummus, a spicy hummus. So I made the hummus, I washed my hands, then I washed my hands a whole bunch of times, and I was like, okay, good, cool. My boyfriend's coming over later. We'll have some hummus.
Cannot wait for this.
Go on, Caitlin's mom. Are you listening?
My boyfriend did come over later,
Uh-huh.
and we decided to do some other stuff before eating hummus. And
Yeah, you did.
while I was on the giving end and he was on the receiving end,
Uh-huh.
I started like my hands and my mouth started burning, and I was like, like what's happening? And my eyes were watering, and I was like, I guess it's just me. I don't know. And then I looked up, and my boyfriend's face was like,
Oh my
like
god.
frozen.
Ah,
And apparently the capsaicin had not left my
Incredible.
hand and had spread to both of us. And I just remember like locking eyes, and we both like hopped up and ran to the bathroom, and I was like throwing water from the sink into my face, and he like jumped in the shower.
Boy, that's a real
trying
mood
to get
killer, huh?
cool. So we were very spicy.
Important question. Did you rally later?
I don't know if we did. I mean,
Oh,
we
man.
ate hummus, but
Okay. I'll take that as
how
rally.
was the hummus, though? That's the question.
it was good, spicy.
Okay. That story's pretty amazing. Anyone
What a
have
great
anything
gift.
else? John?
The wife and I actually have a similar story, but with jalapenos. But it did not end that way. It ended in the most amazing time like I've ever had in my life. Like it was like the
Like a-
most dangerous game of like because you're scared it's gonna go in the hole, right?
Oh,
And like because
God.
that's when like all bets are off.
Okay.
And things are gonna.
I
go
would just like to
terrible.
point out, as good as both of these stories are, neither of them are grooming stories.
That's
I
what
was-
I was
yeah,
gonna say.
Listen, that was as close as I had, I guess. I
You
mean,
ever? So,
I've never
Joe,
shaved off an eyebrow, if that's what you're talking about.
I so I actually did about 2 years ago by mistake when I was trying to trim them, and I had Leslie like would apply makeup to my eyebrows for about 3 weeks
because you cut them off,
because I accidentally shaved one
Oh,
off
man.
when I was trying to trim
trim
them.
it up.
I feel like you're not the only man I know that's done that. I
Oh,
feel like it works.
Dude, see, I got it down, dude. You comb them up, and then whatever kind of like is sticking up, you just cut it off. That's all you do. You know, what I did once, Joe. I get
Trimmers, don't
I get some hair in my ears that I trim off, like on the outer edge. And I one time nicked it with an electric razor. I don't know if you're familiar with like how thin the skin is on your ear, but it was like a bloodbath, like
Yeah.
a straight fucking scene out of a horror movie with this little tiny nick on my ear.
I have had a similar experience, but with other regions.
Yeah,
of
I was just gonna
body.
say yes. Also happened.
with
There you
equally
go.
thin
now
skin.
you guys are getting there.
Yeah,
We got
with
that.
equally thin skin that also bleeds like.
We did get that
ridiculously.
email from that company that wanted to send us a product. What was the name of that? Manscape or whatever.
Oh right,
Yeah,
we got one for leggings this week also.
that's true. You guys familiar with white walls when you get a haircut? That's what like the 50s style where they like really cut high up above the ear, like buzz, and like so you can see
just
like the
made that up.
line above your ear. I did not make it up. Someone did that to me once, I think, because they were just hungover and like messed up one side and was like, "Well, I guess we're doing this on both sides," and I had to walk around like that for like a month. It's the worst. Look it up. It's bad.
Good question.
All right. Balls and stuff. Let's see. Where's my email? Caitlin from Kissimmee.
Actually, sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
Caitlin, I was not aware that you were married.
Ah, yes.
Oh boy.
Well, not after the pepper incident, I assume. Caitlin from Kissimmee, I'm so sorry to report, if someone else hasn't already, that Twister ride has been closed for a few years and replaced with the Jimmy Fallon Saves New York ride or whatever bullshit it's called. Good local Floridians won't go on the ride in memory of our lost love, but we do have to walk through it to get to the Halloween Horror Night houses, and it is now tradition and also respectful to shout, "Fuck Jimmy Fallon, bring back Twister." It's now
I mean, let's be
buried.
honest, that Twister experience was hot garbage
No,
as well.
I loved it. It's now buried with Jaws and Back to the Future. Also, Terminator is gone, and some of the Bourne Identity ride is going in. And Terminator is gone, and a Bourne Identity ride is going.
Who are
in.
the people like beating down the door for a Bourne Identity ride?
Who
Like,
knows,
Yeah,
dude?
that is interesting.
I mean, well, it's all Universal, right? So it's got to have all to do with like movie rights and stuff. Like,
but
what they
sure,
own.
like Terminator's still like an active series. I mean,
It was
on
a
its last
Terminator
leg.
2, like
Yeah,
3D, so it still had like young, what's his name?
Edward Furlong. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I think I've been on that one actually.
It is super, super old.
Yeah, that's fair. They could update it. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
I guess, but like, who gives a fuck about Terminator anymore, right? Like, I know they're still making those movies, but like,
More
are they really?
people than give a fuck about Jason Bourne. That
I
would
don't
be-
think that's accurate. I don't care about either, but I don't think you're accurate here. I bet if you look at the box office for the last Bourne movie versus the last Terminator.
We're talking about people. Yeah, all right, fine. You're right that more people are seeing the Bourne movies these days,
Yeah.
for sure.
Cool story. Info at bloodygoodhorror.com. Joe, you want to talk about your new toy / sex figurine?
So, I pre-ordered this thing like legit maybe 6 months ago, and every once in a while it would pop up in my head and think like, where the fuck is this toy? But it's a Greta the Gremlin from Necco. I guess is the toy
Joe.
company.
Necco is the candy.
And it's
Yeah, that's
they make the
okay. Just for
wafers.
people who are listening, you're holding this up. This is
Yeah.
not some like pop bullshit. This is like a full NECA, like
Yeah.
articulated. Someone hand painted this thing.
Yeah. I'm torn between like taking it out of the box and one because
I mean,
I don't know, I
the
just
box
like the
itself
packaging.
is
Two,
pretty
like
spectacular.
I'm
Yeah.
concerned about myself if Greta does get out of the box. Like what?
You want to feel
Whatever.
against your sensitive skin that you were talking about.
I want to make a short movie where Joe like takes out of the box and then she slowly starts trying to seduce him, but it's like he's not sure she's alive at first. She'll just all of a sudden like be in a different spot, and he's like, "Oh, I think
it
we
wouldn't
should
take
make
much
this
work.
happen."
I'm sure there's a version of that out there on the
He wakes
internets
up.
that-
He wakes up, and
apparently-
she's just on like the nightstand, staring at him in the middle of the night.
Doing her salacious winks.
Jody, BGH superfan and doer of trivia, Jody has a huge replica of the Gremlin spider, and it's terrifying.
Sounds
It's real,
sounds like it.
real scary.
Look.
Joe, what do we got on Instagram this week?
Well, we could start with tweets. We are on Twitter at BG Horror. Every week we post up. You can send in a question with the Ask BGH hashtag. You send in whatever you want. If you need life advice or want to talk about the movie or whatever. First up from Erie, Arizona, and I sent you all of this in the chat so you can take a look too. Does the deep voice guy from The Wiggles kind of look like Joe? What are your opinions?
First of all, his name is Simon, and he does. He definitely
He
does.
100% does.
Does he? I mean, he's got great hair. Different hair, but I mean, I'll take.
He's
this
got
as
a real,
compliment.
similar to you, Joe. He's got a real nice baritone.
Good hunky boy.
Hunky boy. All right. Maybe I'll look into this. Next up from I gotta scroll. Maud Amsterdam. Hey guys and gals, longtime listener here. Love the show. Any plans to cover The Dark and the Wicked on Shudder? Advertisement intended, but no, really. I've heard things. A lot of people, or not a lot, but like a handful of folks have mentioned this, so I feel like it's one we probably should add to the list.
Yeah, we had talked about getting it in at the end of last year. Just, it was a mad dash. But no, I think we got it on the list for sure.
Well, there you go. A definite maybe.
I just want to note that I've heard it's a little on the like dark side, dark and wicked. And I feel like there was a period where Eric and Joe were complaining a lot
I've had enough of that. I feel like
about all the darkness,
more Psycho
I mean,
Gore Man,
was-
less Dark and Wicked is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, was The Stylist like a real lighthearted?
No,
Yeah,
it was not a
yes,
romp.
because it comparatively, yes, it absolutely was.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was
It's just
not
about
great. It
old-fashioned
was
people
no
killing people.
Saint Maud.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't about like mental health tortures or like genocide or like it was. I don't know.
It
Okay,
kinda
never
was
mind.
about
Sorry, it
mental
was.
health.
It was definitely.
You know what? I don't know why. It just didn't feel as bleak as some of those other movies.
Well, it's definitely more of a genre romp.
Yes, it's
than-
also pretty.
Just ladies
Like,
being ladies.
Some
you
of
know?
those movies, I feel like some of those movies,
Eric just like imagining relationships. between
some
all
of
the
those
characters.
movies, I feel like also adopt like a really bleak color palette to go along with their themes, whereas this movie is like very visually stunning, I think.
All right, next up from Chris Alonte. Is there a horror trope thing that always gets under your skin, no matter how good/bad the rest of the movie? For example, eyeball stuff or fingernail torture. What's your weak spot?
Are we talking about things that like make us squirm?
Yeah, there's
or
different.
things
That's two different questions. I feel like.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
Eric with the pictures falling over, I swear to God, I've heard that rant.
Yeah, it's
many
fucking stupid.
times.
When I'm watching a movie and the first spooky thing that happens is either a picture falling over or a door slowly creaking open or closed, you could hear me eye rolling from a mile away. Like it's just, it's done.
I fucking hate dumb jump scares. Like
Yeah.
occasionally they can be like funny, but most of the time they're just cheap and really stupid. And somebody was like, we got to get the audience to like remember this is a horror movie in the first 20 minutes. And so it's like, the neighbor is like knocking on the back door and it's like, "Whoa." You're just like, what?
Yeah.
For me, it's the mirror thing where, or the
Mhm.
fridge door and it closes and somebody's there or not there. And it's like, huh, gotcha.
I really hate, and this is like,
Nothing going on.
this was a lot more prevalent in 80s movies
Milk.
because in the 80s, I feel like they made a lot more horror movies where like kids were the lead. But I really hate when a kid really early on knows everything going on and I have to wait 45 minutes for all the adults to find out because it's just this endless. It's like why I really don't like the original Child's Play because it's just this endless game of just waiting for the adults to find out so the friggin' movie can start because otherwise it's just the kid like,
I mean,
"Wah."
that's actually like, well,
Yeah,
we
I don't like
need to
it.
get into it. That's like a choice. That's fine. You
It's a
cannot like it.
choice
That's-
I disagree with.
Okay.
Torture stuff in general, it's the thing that like gets under my skin. Like, I get why in some movies it's there, but like it makes me cringe every time. And
I think the hardest I've ever sort of flinched. I mean, I don't like the fingernail or eyeball stuff either, but in Saw 2, where I think it's Amanda gets thrown in the needle pit.
Yes. Yeah.
That
It's not great.
that was. And Joe, you hate needles.
Joe, you're
like
all of a
muted
sudden.
or
I don't-
something,
I
Joe?
see you, exclaiming.
Acting.
Oh, did we lose Joe? Can Joe not defend himself right now? If we
no.
Oh, there it is.
I was just saying needles are like I hate needles.
Isn't
That-
there in Saw 2? Isn't there straight up a toilet bowl full of hypodermic needles that someone has to
It's
reach
like
into?
a
I
pit?
thought
Yeah,
the pit was in
There's a
3.
pit, but I thought there was a toilet bowl in one of them too. That's like
maybe.
get a
That-
thing out of
they-
here.
They went
I'm
from
with you,
toilet bowl
Caitlin.
to full
They
pit.
upped the- they
There
upped
is
the
definitely
game.
a pit in one of them. I remember.
Yeah. Well, that scene pit of needles really. I thought about that often. Unfortunately.
Yeah, needles are just honestly like needles in just a regular movie. Like I hate it. I can't look at them.
So I have to cut a lot of B-roll in my daily job, and like for the last 4 months, it's just daily B-roll of people getting vaccines, and I cannot. I
Yeah,
cannot.
I'm not a fan. Even like it's weird because I had to go to the doctor on Monday and they took blood and like they roll up my sleeve and like they see these tattoos and stuff and they're like, oh wow, blah blah blah, and then like I'm literally like white in the face, like about to pass out.
Oh
like,
yeah,
when they
no,
do it.
I have to have music on so loud that I can't hear it because
Hear it.
I have been told.
You're
Listen,
what?
you want me to keep going? I have been
Yeah.
told
Your
that
vein
the
is just like go 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 go.
I have been told that the pressure at which the blood comes out of my body is insane. Like literally, the last time I had blood taken out, I could hear it
Not
sounded like a
healthy, man.
hose just going into this like vial. So I have to I have to crank music so loud that I can't hear it.
Joe, I guess mute me or whatever. I have Crohn's disease, so I used to have to get infusions. Which, if you've never had an infusion, it's a bag drip of that's
Like
you know,
like virgin's
And-
blood.
Anyway, the medicine drips into you for over a course of several hours, but my veins are really scarred. I have a lot of scar tissue because I've had to do that for so many years.
Joe is dying.
Joe's really, I'm so sorry. Joe, just take your headphones off. But one time the nurse was trying to find my vein and she was poking my vein with the needle, but trying to get blood to come out, and she just couldn't. So she just kept pushing and pushing and pushing until I just like squirted blood all over her.
Oh.
Like, I'm so sorry, and she was like, "Whoopsie." So it doesn't bother me as much anymore.
At least once a session of giving blood or whatever, if it's testing or whatever, the nurse will say, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, yeah, just keep going. Just don't stop. Just do it.
Don't talk. Just do it.
You're delaying it. Just make it happen. You're right.
Next up
Joe looks.
from
I've never seen Joe look like he does right now.
Just, I think I've told, like, I had to go for a lot of tests when I was a kid, and it was like weekly, like blood drawn in each arm, and like.
Oh, you have not
9
told
times
that
out of
story.
10,
I would have remembered that.
Oh, yeah, it was for most of the second and third grade. It was like a weekly or bi-weekly thing.
Damn, dude.
And I would pass out a ton, like just because needles, they do it. And I don't know. I think I'm like scarred from childhood.
See, it's not the needles for me. It's the blood, which is ironic considering
No, it's the needles
horror
for me.
movies. Yeah, I can't do blood. Not good with it.
All right, next up, Fusilo Toro. If you were a trophy-taking serial killer, what kind of trophy would you take?
Great question.
This is a weird question.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched the new season of Fargo?
No.
So it's not like a spoiler, but there's a serial killer-ish element. And there's obviously she's taking trophies. Those are the trophies that I like. The like body part, no interest. But like just like a personal effect, I feel like that,
John, you
like
just
a
said
little
that
reminder.
in the creepiest way I've like. That was so creepy how you just said that.
Oh,
Like
all
you
right.
thought about
sorry.
it.
Sorry, and you're welcome, I guess.
How is this season of Fargo, John? We're like 4 episodes in, and the rest are just sitting on our DVR, and I don't know why I just can't like do it.
It's probably the least good season.
Yeah.
But like they're all great. Like I actually
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a fair bit. The because if you're only 4 episodes in, maybe you've met the brother from Italy who
The heavyset guy?
yeah, the bear.
Yeah, he's in there.
Dude. I would watch it just for him. He's
See,
a
Leslie
revelation.
hates him. Leslie
Oh
can't
my
stand him.
God. He's the best. And if you like him, you're gonna enjoy the rest of the season. So
Oh, yeah. All right.
but Leslie might have a problem, it sounds like.
Yeah. Next up, and this is my favorite, Renee, who has been writing in for a while, and I've always said she's, my one and only fan. Last week, Renee actually sent a message on Slack saying, "Look, I'm a fan, but if you mispronounce my name one more time, like I'm gonna fucking murder you." Like, so it just skyrocketed to top 3.
So what's her? How were you saying her name?
I think it was Dos Ex Manatee. I think I was saying, but it's Dos Ex Manatee, like the animal. Which at a certain point,
I just thought you didn't know what a manatee was, and so that's I was, just
Joe, she knows what she's doing by being mean to you.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not
True.
de-escalating the situation, let's just say.
Which unhinged professional should they make a movie about next? I mean, I may be biased, but I'd love to see a story about a murderous veterinarian.
Yeah, I mean that is May.
Yeah. Is she a vet? I forgot.
She's a vet tech, yeah. The thing about the Stylist that is super interesting is it's just it's a weirdly intimate thing all around. So I think it makes it pretty ripe for a horror story.
It is, and you also, the instruments that she's working with, like, I think one of my notes for this movie was, those are some sharp fucking scissors, but it's like, of course they are. She's like, she has razors, and I feel like any profession that might have specialized tools like that would be cool.
I feel like they've made a horror movie about any profession that has specialized tools. Maybe or maybe not. But
it's not exactly a horror movie. What's that thing with Jake Gyllenhaal where he's like a news stringer? Is that
Nightcrawler?
I mean, it's different, but I enjoy that movie. It's just a different kind of profession.
It's in the family of horror films. Although you're right, it's borderline. Good movie though.
0 to 102. When cinema reopens, but with new content still lacking, which classic horror would you most like to see reissued for the big screen? And do you think the enforced absence will make the first trip back an extra special experience?
I would love to
Well,
see The Shining on the big screen. I think that
Too
would be pretty
long.
cool. I,
Too long. What?
too
Come on.
long.
It's a long movie.
It's The
we-
Shining.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it on the big screen, and
Too
it's
long.
fabulous.
Yeah, I don't know. We've actually been to the
Brag
movies
about it,
twice
John.
in the past 2 months because AMC's doing that thing where you can rent out a theater. Like we went and saw the Kroogs last weekend, just the family, in an empty theater, which was amazing.
Now, the
But
what now? What'd you say?
The
The
Kroogs.
Is it-
Kroogs
the
too.
second one?
The second.
Yeah.
Are you saying Kroogs or Crudes?
Kroods?
Yeah,
oh,
with a
it's
D.
Croods. Yeah.
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 It's the second one. So you get to pick from a new movie that's in theaters.
So it depends. The price levels are for newer movies. It's like twice as much as like older movies. Like we went
They have
Like-
older movies. They just give you a selection.
and saw Legally Blonde last month.
What?
With
Yeah,
like
that's-
Leslie's
How's
sister.
the movie selection? Like, is there horror stuff in there?
There was a few. I forget what, but like there was a few that I was like, oh, this would be really fun to go if it was just Leslie and I.
I'll be honest. I think I'm gonna cry the first time I go back to the movie.
I
theater. like I
mean,
might
dude.
legit get teared up.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
There's a theater, a local theater, the Bird Theater here in Richmond, and every Halloween they usually do a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror marathon in the
Oh,
theater.
that's awesome.
I feel like when that comes back, I'll be emotional and excited.
Not a movie theater, but we are the wife is in the process of getting vaccinated. I start this weekend, and we do have a trip to Disney World planned in July, and like I'll full on like on the ground sobbing like a child. going there. I'm not.
Just leave me alone. I gotta lay down.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never been so excited for the 20, John.
The 20.
That's what they call. I don't know if that's
Oh, yeah,
regal or what
yeah,
that is.
Dude, the 20. Oh yeah.
You know what's so funny is I remember.
Do you have to watch that if you rent the whole theater?
I remember being like when they. Do you remember people were livid when they first started putting that preview stuff before movies, and now it's hilarious to me. Like now, what the hell would I do without it? Like it's the only thing stopping. Well, now I show up 2 minutes before the movie starts because I can just pick my seat.
Well, I was
But-
gonna say I get irate when the movie start time is whatever X,
And
and
it
you
doesn't.
show up.
Oh, it
and
starts 15 minutes later. Fully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's like motherfuckers. Start the movie
Play
when
all
you
that.
say the movie
Play all that
starts.
bullshit beforehand. Like yeah.
That's the commercials drive me. The 20, whatever. If you show up early, cool. Play whatever you want before the movie. But
Do you remember when it used
Yeah.
to just be trivia? This is like an old person thing.
Mm.
oh, I did love
Wow.
the trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
And like the worst,
but I
mu-
feel
the
like they
worst,
started mixing in ads pretty.
the
quick.
worst Muzak ever, and then trivia
Yeah.
questions that would repeat every 10 minutes. So if you showed up too early, you just keep saying.
Who was the lady that did the trivia questions?
I remember going to theaters where it was just text. It was just
Yeah, yeah,
projected.
there was-
Yeah, that's. I
I
don't
was gonna
remember
say,
there being
back
no
in the day, it
person.
was just they were like
Uh,
it was like a projector. It
But
was
see,
not
like
even
back in the day,
billboard.
before they had stadium seating, like I had to show up 30 minutes early so I could get a seat where I could like see the friggin' movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since we were talking about it, I just took a look at the list. For $100, you can rent the theater and watch Monster Hunter, which is the new
That's Mila Jovovich.
Promising Young Woman. You could watch
That'd be cool.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Jurassic World.
Oh, I mean, for a night out, $100. Like if you're gonna go to a nice dinner
Scream,
and a movie, you're gonna
the-
spend $100.
The original Scream you could watch.
Scream would be dope.
Yeah,
I never saw that
there's-
in the theater.
yeah. There's a bunch of other movies, but The Bodyguard, if you're interested.
The Bodyguard.
No.
Amazing. That's kind of cool, dude. I'm into it.
It's not bad. Like they cleaned the whole theater. Like literally, it was the four of us, and like we had Madeline, who's 2, and like she talked through the whole thing, and it didn't matter.
Question:
because-
Does the usher come out to check on you halfway through the movie?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Like I didn't like because the first time we did it, I was nervous about bringing anything, but like literally, I didn't see a
So
single.
you and a
person.
date could do it. It could just be like Caligula up in there, and no one's coming. to
100%.
check on
Yeah.
you.
Like
Oh,
like it.
gross. I don't want to
I
go.
like it.
Wait, what's the food situation?
Relive the
like?
glory days, Joe.
so they're doing like discount like concession stand stuff. I think like, you can do like packages, but like honestly, we just brought our own stuff, and like nobody knew or even paid attention.
I don't think any of the AMC's are open in my county. Now that I'm looking,
Really?
I fucking Maryland. Ay, ay, ay.
Mm. Go to Texas, John. Everything's like wide open.
There's I mean, I keep saying this, but there's a little one-room movie house within walking distance of here, and then there's like a full-on multiplex, like a 5-minute drive. So I'm pretty pumped for movies to open up again.
There definitely was a moment when I looked to my left and like the daughters were sitting there watching it, and like Leslie and like we were just having a good time, and like I definitely got misty. Like menopause has been full effect these past years. Anyway, Skizbot. Can't stop eating jelly beans. What's your favorite Easter candy?
Starburst jelly beans or Reese's eggs.
Reese's eggs are real good. I like Peeps, man. I'll get down on some Peeps.
Big fan.
I'm
I was gonna
anti-Peep.
say
Pro Cadbury cream egg.
Fresh Peeps.
I was about to say mine would be a tie between Cadbury cream eggs and Peeps. Like,
long before I couldn't eat them anymore, they made me sick. They're so rich. Like it's too much for me.
They sure are.
They are.
Oh, gross.
It's amazing.
I make omelets with them. Cook them up. I put them in the pan.
I like the eggs. They're like chocolate eggs with like the hard candy coating. I guess those are Cadbury, like the little tiny guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the malt ball ones, or
it's chocolate, but it's like
they're like looking.
Yeah, they are Cadbury.
They come in a bag. The candy coating's a little like chalky or something.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'll go on a ledge and say Robin's eggs, like the licorice. Love a good licorice.
Black licorice
jelly bean. Yeah.
What are you, a serial killer?
I like the Starburst jelly beans, the green ones. Woo.
I cannot physically eat a black jelly bean. Like I could not get it down. There's no way.
Oh,
it is
love it.
The most revolting
if it was that
thing.
or like donate blood, which do you think?
Oh, blood. Let me squirt some blood at you, Schnars. No, I'm not kidding. I don't think I could physically eat it. I don't think I could.
I love black licorice. It is
gross.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-black licorice, but I'm also not Joe.
If that tastes good to you, your brain is not wired right. There's some wires across somewhere.
I love black licorice and jalapeno blowjobs. Yeah. All right. Alex Jones. Have any of you heard the rumor that Rob Zombie is going to be making The Munsters movie with gasp his wife as Lily Munster? If this is true, how bad do you think it'll be?
Fuck off. That sounds like the worst thing ever.
Yeah. I feel like he'll try and make it like a dark version of the Munsters, which is not.
Kind of what the hell? I don't know. He made like a lucha inspired like animated movie, El Super Beasto or something.
Super Sexto Beasto or something. Yeah, he did. It wasn't awful. It was probably one of the better movies he's made. Last but not least, our friend Alyssa at Big Texdazier. I don't know.
Tozier. Richie Tozier.
There you go. Why are men the way they are?
Who knows, dude? That's a great question.
I don't know. You guys have a platform. Can you answer for yourselves?
I was gonna say hormones, but I'll leave that.
Society. All right.
Society. I mean, if you could answer that problem, you could pretty much take care of most of the world's ills. So I feel like that's maybe a tall order for a mid-tier horror podcast, but you know.
All right. So jump over to Instagram. We are on Instagram at Bloody Good Horror, the full name. Every Tuesday we post up. You can send in a question, and we'll make dumb comments, and then we'll talk about it on the show. First up, though, from our word suggester and refuser of using the form. How important is hair to you? Your own, your partner's, color length, etc.
I mean, it would be pretty hypocritical of me to demand a certain kind of hair, Joe, don't you think?
Because there wasn't their whole Seinfeld episode about that, where
with
George is like, I like a thick, lush. You like that.
She's
like
bald.
hair.
He's dating the bald woman.
Hair's cool. I like
Eric
it.
might scalp John for his hair.
I mean, you could look at it.
I mean, it's important to me. It's always been. I've never dyed my hair, and I'm 31, and at this point, I'm scared to because what if I never get it back? Like, what if I never get my natural color back? So
Interesting.
It's important to me, and I'm protective of it for sure.
I don't know. I don't really care about mine. I joke around a lot, but like, no, I know I say I do, but like at the end of the day, like, I don't know if Leslie had a problem with it, like I would have concerns there, but I don't know. We've been married for like 10 plus years. Like, what's the difference anymore?
I think I've documented on the show. Actually, almost definitely if you go way back. But like, I used to cut my own hair. I would just use a razor and like, buzz it and just let it. And my wife basically was like, "You can't keep doing that. Like, you're like an adult human, and like you just can't do that
You need
anymore."
to get a haircut from a hair cutter.
But
I've
like,
been since COVID, and I've been doing it at home.
well, no, I mean, no one has cut my hair in over a year if it's not obvious. So, I would say like I don't care, but most people probably think that I do. I don't know. It's yeah.
I mean, it means different things for women too.
Yes.
So.
Fully acknowledge that.
It's a deep question. All right, here's the rest. Why did I watch Human Centipede 2?
It's awful and horrendous, like horrific to watch.
What's the subtitle for that?
This-
Yeah,
It's called the second
sequence.
sequence, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go.
I thought it was something a little kitschier. Never mind.
What do you think about Corey Feldman, and have you heard his band?
I have heard his band because I used to watch that reality show. Remember
Yeah.
that reality show he did with him and the two Coreys? I don't remember what
The
it
two
was called.
Corys, yeah, yeah.
It's awful, and he performs like he's Michael Jackson, but like a
Yeah.
bootleg version, and it's one of the cringiest things you'll ever see in your entire life.
Yeah, I don't care for him.
It's called like Corey and the
feel like-
Angels or something, and he's just got he has a bunch of like his whole band is just women like dressed up the same, and then he's dressed up like Michael Jackson, and they play like really shitty like pop music. It's if you like cringy things,
I was gonna say I had no opinion, and now I hate him.
you
so-
kind of have to
He's-
see it.
He seems like he's a scumbag.
No, he
Blank.
seems like a
But isn't
real-
he like? I don't know. I thought that he was like a broken man, like a victim in a lot of ways. I don't know though. I could be making that up.
His whole shtick, I think, is that Corey Haim was, and he's trying like he keeps trying to hawk this like documentary that he's trying to put together to like expose whatever apparently happened, but like which if it did happen, horrific and awful, but like the way he's going about it makes it sound like it's a money grab. So it's I don't know.
Gotcha.
It's a whole thing. All right. Tuesdays cause me headaches. Why?
It's like the worst day.
It
It's
is.
like-
It's awful, right? Like you've lost the high of the weekend, and you're nowhere near the next weekend.
now you're not even near Wednesday yet. It's just fucking
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yep.
I feel it.
Next, from our person that refuses to use the form. No, I won't. Is all she said.
How do you know it's a she?
I'm aware. I don't know why I don't read the names of the Instagram, but
You just muted yourself
again, Joe.
He's got one of those fancy mics where you tap and mute.
I don't understand how I'm doing that, but whatever. Who's most likely to do a great movie again? Bruce Willis, Nicolas Cage, or John Travolta?
Willis, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I was gonna say Cage.
I think
don't
we
think
can all
so.
agree it's not Travolta at least.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
for sure.
100% no.
He's made one good movie basically, and it was with Tarantino, and that's it. Like,
I rewatched
Wow.
the original Carrie for my
I
podcast,
didn't realize
Well-
Tarantino directed Grease.
and
He-
he's so young in it, so handsome and so terrible.
yeah.
Wait, who? I'm sorry, Caitlin. What movie?
Carrie.
Carrie, the original
Oh.
Carrie.
But that Carrie was like one of his first films, I think.
No, yeah, it was. It's just it's wild to see him so young.
I don't know. He's not or Tarantino. Fucking Travolta's not terrible in some movies, but yeah, I agree that
It's
like,
hard to. It's like what's his name? Tom Cruise. Like it's hard to separate him.
Yeah.
From,
Well, yeah,
Atmosphere that they bring with their baggage.
and
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, to Eric's point, was like this revitalization. It's like you don't get you usually don't get multiple bites at that apple.
So
I feel like Nick Cage has like never really had a revitalization. He just like has
he
been
had
on
a
this
weird.
like long, slow arc of crazy.
Well, here's the thing: is like Nick Cage is settled into it. He's got a thing right now. Not every
Yeah.
actor has a thing. Like Nick Cage has a thing. He's got steady
Well,
projects.
Travolta has a thing where he's just like saying he just like takes whatever work he can get.
No. But Travolta, like he tried to do that mobster movie last year that was like just panned as just like the worst
Oh,
thing ever
God,
made.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
Gotti or
Travolta's
was it?
still trying
Yeah.
to make like prestige movies, whereas I feel like Cage knows his lane, and I feel like Travolta doesn't yet. Because don't forget
What
the
has
whole.
Willis been up to? Is he like working a lot, or is he not working at all? I actually have no
Being a
idea.
douche? I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, that's-
he's a douche.
Is he a douche? I
Don't
have no
forget
idea.
the whole thing with Travolta when Pulp Fiction came out. Was it his career? Literally, he's just doing like sequels to Look Who's Talking. Like it was in the shitter. Nobody thought he was cool. He made that movie. It made him cool again. And then
Yeah.
he took that cachet that he had from that and he went and made Swordfish. Like he literally immediately squandered it and has not done that much good since, honestly. Like,
I think Face Off was after that, right? Which-
Yeah.
but
You
even
guys know about John Travolta? I didn't. I'm just Grease, and that's about it. Mr. Cotter. Welcome
yeah, I
back,
just
Cotter.
find it.
Ah, jeez, Mr. Carter.
I find the trajectory of his career fascinating, and
Saturday
also
Night Fever.
as a
It's
as
a
a
good
you know
movie.
as a Scientologist, like I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good on Travolta.
I'd love
Yeah,
a documentary rather than a movie.
Yeah. Yes.
Face Off was after Pulp Fiction. I also saw. Did you guys ever see Broken Arrow? Saw that
Broken
in the
Arrow,
theater
yeah,
with
with,
my dad.
Christian Slater.
Yeah.
Yeah, solid also.
I do like.
He
Christian
had
Slater.
a period after Pulp Fiction where he put out some solid stuff.
Yeah, and then I kind of went down.
I mean, Wild Hogs. People love that
Wild
movie.
Hogs.
I've never actually seen it, but
I feel like I'm at the age now where I should watch that, and I would probably be
Joe,
like, yeah,
I
this
have
is-
Joe, you would
literally
love
no. I have
Wild
literally no doubt you would love Wild Hogs. Like I just
Yeah.
know this about you.
like
Uh,
when Grown Ups first came out, I'm like, this is stupid, and then we watched it again, and now I'm like, yeah, I get this. This is
so
fun.
Get Shorty's great. If
Get
you guys,
Shorty's good.
Blowout is, I mean, that's going back. That's like the early '80s. But Urban Cowboy was also like a movie. I don't
Yeah.
know. I've never seen it, but
What was
I know.
the I'm probably the only one who remembers this movie, but it was him and this other guy open up a nightclub in like the middle of nowhere, and then it turns out they're actually in Russia.
what? No,
Do
I
you
have no idea what you're talking
Remember
about.
this? I'll look it up while we're talking about the other Butcher, Baker, and Nightmare Maker ? Which I no explanation here, but apparently it's a movie that I discovered like after this question came in.
I don't.
I got
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
You know.
Did any of you watch the TV show Evil? If so, do you like it?
No, it was like wasn't it a procedural, like a network procedural or something? That's not
What that
really.
means.
I have
My
no
jam.
idea what you guys are talking about.
I'm pretty sure it was a network procedural where like they were
I mean,
hunting
I know
the
what a
essence of evil
procedural
or
is,
something.
but I don't know.
I
what
don't.
Do
evil
you,
is.
John? Do you?
I think so.
Well, somebody Google it. I don't know, dude.
I'm looking it up, but yeah, I'm not familiar with what it is. Evil 2019. It doesn't look like it was a procedural.
But
Yeah.
I don't know, John.
Okay.
All right. How many lens flares?
John, it
are
was on.
too many?
John, it was on.
It was
C-
CBS.
It was on CBS, John. It was a
Yeah, it's
procedural. Like
Almost
come on.
definitely a procedural. You're right.
Oh yeah, here's the movie. The Experts. Two New York City guys get jobs starting a nightclub in small town USA. They don't know it's a spy training model town in USSR.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's a movie.
Concept.
It's it's one to look up. How many lens flares are too many for Eric? Is there a max/minimum per movie or period of runtime?
I like your answer, honestly, Joe.
What was mine? I don't remember. Oh,
Um,
there's no limit to your desires or something
yes.
like that. Joe, where is the best place to hide in a zombie outbreak, young sir? My answer was Outback Steakhouse, because you're gonna die no matter what. Like eventually they're
So
gonna
get some
get you.
steak
so,
first.
Like, yeah,
like a
get
last
some bloomin' onions. in
last
you,
meal
like, why not?
kind of situation. Yeah.
Home Depot would be a good place, like logistically speaking, but
You're,
I worry that's
you're
too
trying to
big, right?
survive,
Like-
Caitlin. I'm just trying to get a little pleasure before we go out.
to be perfectly honest, my brother and I have talked about this. Like, write it out, have a few good weeks, and then just,
Yeah.
I'm still like I know we talked about this. I think we talked about this actually last year. Remember somebody asking a similar question as the pandemic was getting started, but I'm of the lawn chair club where you just put the lawn chair out in your front yard and just sit there and wait for it to happen. Have a beer, just wait.
no, it'll hurt.
Let nature run its course. It's gonna hurt regardless. Would you rather be drunk
Probably.
and hanging out while you're doing it? I'm just saying.
Last but not least, we got a two-parter from our friend. Quick update, in case you were curious from listening to last week. Update: my testicles are now all good.
Oh,
Thanks.
thank God. I was so worried.
Yep. Exactly. And then he follows up. Also, do you have any plans to review Gunjam Haunted Asylum? Korean FF Spookiness. I don't know what FF stands for.
Found footage.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense. I hope not. Like, honestly,
I'm honestly really enjoying Caitlin's new role in the show of interpreter for Joe.
I like it. Yeah, I do appreciate this.
Oh, here I found it. 2018. Maybe it just came. Maybe it's making its way over here. Oh yeah, this looks real fucking scary. I don't know, guys.
What?
I don't know if we can handle this movie.
What movie?
Gunjam. GONJIAM : Haunted Asylum. South Korean 2018. Found footage horror.
Put it in the chat, John, so we can all enjoy. Or
No,
you want to share with the rest of the class?
no. Just imagine it. Just
I mean, honestly, I got to imagine there's subtitles and like a lot of that going on, and I want nothing
It's
to do.
only
with
91 minutes though.
That seems too long. Gungeon style.
That's a racist way to go about it.
Is it?
It sounds like the
Nah,
word.
he was
It wasn't.
Korean, wasn't
Yeah.
he?
He
Side.
was Korean. I just
Hey, sexy lady.
They're homophones, right? They're definitely spelled differently.
Whoa,
but
John.
they sound the same, but they're spelled differently.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there's a video on here, 2018 ending explained.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
curious why. I'm always suspect of anyone that sends in questions that say like, "Do you have any plans to watch this movie?" I immediately think you have something to do
They're
with this
in
movie.
it,
and
or
you're
a producer. Yeah.
Why?
totally.
But like, why would someone? Wait, like, it's a 2018 South Korean
That's
film.
exactly like why. Why are you just now suggesting a movie that came out 3
Yeah.
years ago? I don't trust you.
The production company Hive Media Corp is like trying to seed films with really good horror.
Diabolical.
it's the hustle. If that's the case.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm looking at the trailer now. This looks awful. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm glad your balls are back to normal, but like,
Yeah.
I am suspect of you, and I don't trust you. And that was also our last question, so we're done.
Okay. There you go.
Wow.
Oh,
We don't know what we're watching next week, but I'm gonna go to bat for Ganjam Haunted Asylum.
Joe, I think it's time to remind people that you're on Cameo.
Oh yeah, cameo.com/ I think BG horror or Bloody Good Horror. Full disclosure, it's starting to die down. Like,
Well,
I think
we-
people's interest.
We got through Valentine's Day, it's coming
which,
back.
I
around.
mean, hey, Patrick, who titles every request he sends in as my one and only gay fan, which, if he is great,
Cannot be
seems like
true.
a great guy. But like, I gotta have one more out there, right? Like,
I'm sure you do, Joe.
but yeah, Cameo. If you're looking to, break up with your loved one, end a marriage, or wish a happy birthday, like we're there. Also on TikTok, I've really taken to it in the past week because I'm getting like random.
Did you figure out the
questions.
music thing?
A little bit. And I'm also getting like random comments and questions from people that don't listen to the show.
Really?
So like now I'm getting like,
okay.
excited.
Do we need to start answering some of those too?
No, I do. I answer them all. Like,
no, I mean, surface them on the show if they're relevant.
Oh, I
That's
see.
what I'm
No,
saying.
there's not that many as of yet. But like if
It's
it
more
picks
like,
up,
who
sure.
are you? What is this?
Yeah, like what the fuck is this guy? Like, what's wrong with your face? Are you okay? So yeah, we're on TikTok. I think it's BG Horror, Bloody Goat Horror. I don't know. Just look it up.
Listen, I want people to send in cameos because it's like my favorite show content. So I need you guys to help me generate more content. So just
It is a lot of fun to
yeah.
do.
I don't care if you don't even want to watch it or send it to someone. Just give Joe some cameos so I can play them, please.
St. Patrick's Day is coming up.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. If you
Easter?
want to wish someone like
Tax Day.
Ides of March. I like it.
Ides of
Someone please send in an Ides of March so I can hear Joe make up what he thinks that means.
Yeah, I was literally about to say the same thing. Like, not a clue, but
Yeah.
Can you give tax advice? I think I might have to request one.
Yes. The
You don't want to go
Ides.
there. Deadly.
my better half took over our taxes long ago, and for the better. So
Good content though.
Also, don't forget patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. You can get a live stream of the show every week, the pre-show. You can get back episodes and access to our Slack community where right now I am shaming people who like black licorice because that means you're a psychopath. So why wouldn't you want that to happen to you?
You
So,
know, it's 2021. We're still in the thick of a pandemic, Eric. Why shame anyone for what they enjoy?
but I have lines like
I guess unless that's what you enjoy is shaming people.
I'm
Like, if
pretty
that's what makes you
progressive,
feel better.
except when it comes to licorice flavored things.
Okay.
So
I'm just saying, enjoy your black licorice. Have your wife chop up a jalapeno before
oof, just
the
be
oral
careful.
pleasures
Just
begin.
be careful is all I'm saying.
Or hey, whatever. Like whatever makes you happy. Take some risks in the bedroom. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
Wow.
Joe, maybe you can do a cameo, give a shout out to my mom. Maybe I'll do that for Mother's Day.
Oh, absolutely. That's right. Mother's Day's coming up. Like I
Yes.
would love to talk to your
Please.
mother. Let me talk to your mother.
I mean, Joe, they literally make products with a warming sensation, right? So like you're just cutting the cheese. You're just doing it in a more natural way. Is all
Yeah,
you're doing.
exactly. Like I'm listening to
Organic.
Rusted Road. I'm
Yeah.
rubbing jalapenos on my genitals. Like
It's
just-
organic and you're eating the jalapenos, so that's just like it's more environmentally friendly.
exactly. Yeah. Zero waste.
It makes
I'm
makes sense to me.
eliminating my carbon footprint. My
Zero
carbon-
waste lover. Can that be your alternate TikTok? Zero waste lover.
Zero. My carbon dick print is at a 0 right now.
Oh no.
I was about to say something, but
Holy
I'm not
shit.
going to.
Ah.
Thanks for listening, Kate Nutt's mom.
And slash Joe's coworkers. All right. We don't know what we're doing next week, but we'll be here because where the hell else are we going to be? Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you then.
See ya.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, Caitlin's mom.